This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in the closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops.
The latest release of millions of files is helping us build the fullest picture so far of Jeffrey Epstein's wretched life, high society, sordid crimes, and the consequences of them. Among them are these new images of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. They show him on all fours. In two of the pictures, he appears to be touching a woman's stomach, while the others show him looking straight at the camera. The photos appear without explanation, date, or further context, and there's no suggestion of any wrongdoing. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has always denied any allegations against him. But these files aren't just about lurid photos or ill-advised friendships. They document in precise detail exactly what Epstein did. One document here shows a list of some of the witnesses. It looks dry and methodical until you see the ages, 17 years old for all these victims at high school. These were school children, and they were abused hundreds of times. Other victims described being raped and beaten in graphic detail.
I want to begin by giving all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. And I give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, who I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to you, Archeum, you brothers out there laboring, pushing this word out in all truth and in sincerity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice. I want to say shalom to you Israelite sisters that may be listening. Also to you Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. You may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the chosen seed line. Shalom. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. This is why we call these Edomites the devil that the Bible speak of, right? And the word devil just means deceiver. They're the liars. They're the biggest liars on the planet Earth. And they've covered their treachery by, through deceit, by lying. They've lied about everything they've been doing for all these years, saying that, this is the reason why the Epstein list was never released to the public, because of who's on it. Candace Owens, I believe, made that statement. Like they'll never release the list because of who's on it.
Next question, why have they not released Epstein's list? Because they're on it. Duh. They're on the list. You can't release what you're on.
They're all on it, right? Now, they've been lying to the whole earth, and now their deeds are being exposed for all to see. Right? They are the vile and most profane people on the planet Earth. Now, we're going to read in the book of Job because it basically explains that, right? So this is the book of Job, chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 5, right? I'm going to make this not a long lesson. I'm going to make this just a brief lesson. It's just putting my thoughts on it. But this is the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 5. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. The Caucasians come from the Caucasus Mountains. This is where they were at. When they started to come out of those, out of those mountains and start to take over the world, right? Like, this is how we know who the Edomites are today. These are the same people, the vile of the earth, right? Verse 7, it says, among the bushes they brayed, like, cavemen. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools. Yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, right? It's describing these Edomites, right? They've always been known as the vile of the earth, right? Even in the time of Job, they were just children of fools. And these are the people that are currently ruling over us right now. These are the ones that's ruling over the world right now. And this is why the world's gone to crap. It's because of these people, right? Now, these people, as I mentioned before, are being exposed and everything's being brought to the light. Now, Lord willing, I'm going to play some clips, just to give you an idea of how wicked these people are, right? These people are never going to escape the allegations.
Epstein's satanic ass ate babies that were just born and compared them to cream cheese. I don't really give a shit about this app anymore because we already know who owns it, but just want to let you guys know that.
Read the nastiest shit I've ever read. They said Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. Were elder men and included Elon Musk, Donald Trump Jr., and Ivanka Trump.
What the?
Mind you, this is only one thing that happened on this list. And there's, what is it? It was 3 million shit?
3 million files. They deleted that.
And
they forgot that one.
Y'all would auction off children. These are the people that are in office.
These niggas, they measured them with their what, bro?
Oh my God, bro.
It's
no,
like,
this is actually like, no, this should be world shattering to everybody. Regardless of whether or not you were prepared for it or you're used to hearing this shit, this should light a fire in you that understands that your government is being ran.
It's
if you support this nigga, bro, when it came out, right, when Trump won and niggas was like, oh my, come on guys, we can still be friends, it's just politics. No. If you support this bitch ass nigga after hearing that,
I don't support no pedophiles.
Gang.
No, trigger warning on the word I'm about to say. It's like, yo, I'm reading this list and the word in every single paragraph. These are the scum of the earth that y'all have let into this office.
Multiple times.
And that are leading this country.
If that is not enough for you to stand in opposition to every single goddamn thing that they do, nothing will ever be enough for you.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk's in
Trump low-key told us the lukewarm version of that when he was first starting. Grabbed him by the...
Yeah.
He already told y'all he was doing that shit.
We already seen the pictures of him with Epstein in the 90s. Talking about the British royal family in this list. Jesus. Andrew Cuomo's in this list. Holy
Glad! Alright,
killing Graham.
Guys.
It's almost like the class of people we've been talking about. Do actually share the same class?
Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, John W. Nicholas, Linda Kitts. Yeah, this is wild. And they just deleted.
Get all these niggas.
Guys.
Get all these niggas. No, get all these niggas. Lock them up.
There's no conversation in defense. They just uploaded it and deleted it because they're like, oh, fuck. This might tear it all down.
They were already legally past the deadline. They already were committing a crime, not releasing it when they were supposed to release it.
They were stalling for so long to hide that, and they still didn't hide it.
Yeah, get them all gone.
Get them all gone.
So as you can see, man, these people are liars. These are the types of lies that they tell. I'm going to play another clip.
I never have really partied. And I've never really felt the need to go and party.
Am I right in thinking you threw a birthday party for Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, at Sandringham?
No, it was a shooting weekend.
A shooting weekend?
Just a straightforward shooting weekend.
Why? Why were you staying with a convicted sex offender?
Right, because this was serious, and I felt that doing it over the telephone was the chicken's way of doing it. I had to go and see him and talk to him. Oh, in 2010, there certainly wasn't a party to celebrate his release in December, because it was a small dinner party. There were only 8 or 10 of us, I think, at the dinner.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay, and I admit fully that my judgment was probably coloured by my tendency to be too honourable.
Okay. And your strengths?
But that definitely wasn't you getting a foot massage from a Russian girl in Jeffrey Epstein's house.
No.
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior. Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. the focus was always he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. In retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
Nothing came out about me other than there was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
But what would you say to people
like
who feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare,
justice, Mr. President?
something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to
are
the
so
survivors
bad.
who feel like they haven't gotten
justice? You are
justice?
the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. She's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile
Well,
on your face.
I'm asking you about survivors.
You know why?
of Jeffrey
You know why
Epstein,
you're
Mr.
not
President.
smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth, and you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you.
These are survivors of a sexual abuse.
Where are my fellow weaklings at? Because that's what Trump called us yesterday, right? He also, during a press conference, said that we were stupid for still caring about the Epstein files. So I think now we're arriving at the important question here, which is, who is Trump protecting? Because he's clearly protecting someone. Is it himself? Is it someone in his family?
If you search for the name Trump in the Department of Justice's so-called Epstein library, it returns 5,176 results, more than 38,000 mentions of his name. What do those results tell us? Well, there are interview notes with Epstein survivors who name Donald Trump. Some of them reference Mar-a-Lago, his home in Florida. But to date, we have not found any of them alleging wrongdoing by the president.
Yeah, David, there's a spreadsheet summary of unverified tips which were submitted to the FBI. Now, I've seen it, you've seen it. This has been widely circulated online, and it does contain graphic descriptions of abuse and criminality. The thing about these complaints is that they are unsubstantiated, uncorroborated. They were made over an unspecified time frame, and in many instances from anonymous individuals.
In the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? This is the book of Sirach, right? We're going to go to chapter 12. I'm going to read verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy." These people have and always will be our enemy, right? They're the enemies of the planet Earth, right? It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness," right? And we've seen how wicked these people can be, the pride that they have, conquering nations and taking over people's lands and stealing their resources and acting like they ain't done anything wrong, like these are the same people that act like this way. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the time they act like they're sorry for their past and everything that they've done, but the next verse tells you that they ain't sorry for nothing, right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 11. It says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching," meaning, I'm really sorry for our past and everything we've done. It says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away." That's why the Lord's got to expose these devils, right? The Lord's got to expose them. And this is why their kingdom is fallen. Their kingdom is crumbling. People all around the world are starting to wake up to how wicked these evil people are. They're really starting to wake up and see, they're really starting to smell the coffee. Do you know what I mean? Like, these people are vile, right? I wouldn't be surprised. I'll say, don't be surprised if they stage a global event that ultimately leads into a global catastrophe, like crashing the stock market, crashing the money markets, the fiat currency, introducing a microchip, starting World War III. Don't be surprised if these things happen, right? Because all it means is that they're just being led even deeper into prophecy, right? Because everything's supposed to happen the way the Lord planned it to happen, right? And this is what's happening with these people. So don't be surprised if you see these events taking place, and you know, like, it all kicks off. It just goes to show you that we're even more closer now to the end than we were, let's say, 10, 20 years ago. We're even more closer now. Like, this thing's getting ready to wrap up, man. The Lord's getting ready to wrap this thing up, man. These people need to be taken out, man. Like all the things that they've been accused of doing behind the scenes, I bet we don't even know half of it, right? Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. You know, pray that this brief short lesson has been edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rachach Kodash. I'm gonna give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. I want to say, you know, shalom to you Israelite sisters that tuned in, maybe listening, and also to you Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. So on to the next, Lord willing. Shalom.